sit there and I would make sure that I had the Alice in Chains star from the Dirt album. I had it perfect. It was on the back of this shirt in Sharpie. And I wore it proudly to school. And I don't know what anyone thought of me, but that was a risk. I didn't care. I didn't care. I mean, I say I didn't care. I didn't think that at the time. Like, I just did what I did. Now I'm thinking, wow, I really didn't care. What my perception or I wasn't thinking about what other people thought. What I was thinking was, I love Alice in Chains, Dirt. It was my Bible, let's say. So I also loved Nirvana. Yeah, I was obsessed with Nirvana. Let's be real. Again, it was the lyrics that I identified with. It was the outsider. Being the outsider. And Nirvana resonated with the outsiders. It also resonated with some of the jocks too, but they didn't get it. They only liked Nevermind, and that was lame. I was into the real deep stuff. And so when Kurt Cobain died, I was naturally a wreck. And I remember calling my mom. And I don't know where she was. And just being lost. Because Kurt Cobain shot himself. It was April of 1994. Ooh, I'm giving my age away. And I was a mess. And I don't remember feeling any more comfort after talking to Mom. Nobody really understood how I felt in that moment. But when I went to school and was, visibly upset, standing in the lunch line, this kid, real annoying kid, asked me why I didn't kill myself too. And, when kids say stuff to you, like kids to kids, your peers ask you why you didn't kill yourself, for a moment you wonder why you didn't. And that was really, really difficult. And so I walked around the rest of the day really feeling embarrassed, really, because everyone knew that I was the Nirvana freak in the school and that I was upset about it. And, having someone approach you and look you right in the eye and ask you why you didn't kill yourself was upsetting. And, kids get obsessed with music and they get real lost in it. But for me, it was the only thing I had. It was the only friend that I had, only caregiver I had in the moment. And so losing it was really tough. So fast forward, I continued being that outsider, the one that flitted around to all the different cliques in high school and never fit in with any of them. And, time passed and lots of stuff happened. And, it began to make me, I was already an angry person, an angry teenager, angst, one might say, but it was more than that. I was dealing with stuff that no teenager should have been dealing with. And I will not reveal. Even on episode 13, I cannot reveal what I was dealing with. And so I just need you to just take me at my word that Kurt Cobain was like a god to me. And taking him away was really dangerous. But anyway, I got over that, got over that. moved on to other stuff. But I was developing a huge callus over my emotions, all of them. And I stopped feeling, I stopped trusting, and I got tough. So, senior year, and here's episode 13, reveal. Senior year, and this would never fly these days. I was in my class. I don't even know what class it was. And I lived in my own apartment at that point. So there was never a day that I was showing up to school feeling good, feeling ready, always tired, probably hungover, never properly fed. And I was in class, and an argument broke out between myself and the class jock. One of them. I can't say that he was the jock, but I know his name still to this day. And he had argued with me about something, and I argued back. And he had said something to me that he was trying to tell me that I was stupid. And I don't remember what he said. So I threatened him. Here I am. If you look at me now, I don't know why I'm threatening this football player, but it was my first go-to. I'm at the end of my rope, as they say. So I told him, I'm like, dude, I will find you. And I don't know what I said. And he goes, oh yeah? Well, I'll be at football practice at 3:30. Do you know what that looks like on the clock? The little hand is on the 3, and the big hand is on the 6. And the teacher is just sitting by. And I said to him again, I will find you at football practice, and I will kill you. And again, the teacher did nothing to bring the situation down. In fact, it got elevated by a friend of mine sitting next to me saying to this football player, she's not lying. You should shut up now. And at that point, the discussion stopped. So I went home that day, drove myself back to where I was living. And it might not have been the apartment. It might have been when I lived in Springfield. I don't know. I was all over the place. No wonder I was pissed. I had no control over my life. Barely any food to eat. There's no sleep. It was gritty. It was not a normal high school existence. At the same time, my brother was in high school in a different town. And I don't know where my mom was at that point. I don't know. So I'm not making excuses for myself, but I guess I'm bringing up an example of how this stuff can play out, or how, I guess I hope that people can see how this stuff can be diffused. And nowadays unfortunately, it's more prevalent. And I think teachers are now skilled in diffusing situations. But back then, this was not. It was before Columbine. And so the teacher kind of giggled along with the jock, and I didn't feel supported whatsoever. And so feeling under that pressure, this is why I felt the need to start threatening. I was backed into a corner. I was tired. I had nothing. I wasn't going home to parents to help me. I had nothing. And so what I did was threaten him. So after school, I gathered up 3-4 of my friends. I think 3 out of 4 of them didn't attend school there. One was kicked out, and I rallied them, and we went back to the school. And I sat in the car in the parking lot as they went in, spread out, and looked for him. So some went to the football field, some went to the locker room, and just started screaming out his name. And I sat in the car feeling empowered because I set off this was my only power, was to sick these friends of mine on this person who insulted me and continued to insult me, even with an adult in the room. And there was nothing I could do. There's no excuse for it. I mean, that's the thing, is there is no excuse for it. And to this day, I think about it often. And I think, it could have been bad. It could have turned out real bad. And it's not often that a female is the leader of something like that. But I had gotten to that point in my life. It didn't matter. I didn't care if it didn't matter. Gender did not matter. All I knew was that I had to defeat him, and I had to do it in a big way. So luckily things didn't pan out, and he was never found. I don't know if he hid. I don't know. But they didn't find him. But I got called into the office the next day. So someone noticed, and it was reported, and he and I were called into the office and talked to together, which I find really weird now. That wouldn't happen. I felt again that I was in the room with someone who was threatening me. Well, I guess he wasn't threatening me, but I did feel, I don't know what the word is. I don't know. I can't say. But sitting in the room next to him, being talked to on equal ground, it didn't feel resolved to me. All I felt was that it was noticed and I shouldn't do it again. We both got detention, and that was it. Diffused. That's a skeleton in my closet that I'll bring it up here and there. But in this culture today of school shootings and, the kids that feel so lost and empty and there's nothing left, and all it takes is one kid to strip the last bit of power from them for them to go into the school and just... So I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know what I'm saying. It does speak to who I was then. And who I was, back then and still now. Absolutely still now. I'm not threatening anybody. I've calmed down big time. But I do stand my ground. And sometimes I stand on it and No. I'm going to take that back. If any guy were standing their ground like I do, they'd be commended. But I'm still like often like, oh gosh, Molly, gosh, you're being such a bitch, chill out. No. I just need to harness my power in a different way, which I am now. I mean, I was a kid, I was a teenager. But back then, when anyone told me I couldn't do something, it was the first thing that I did.